Welcome to the Buff Potato. I'm Abo, and I'm joined by my co-presenter,
Nino Escher.
and today we're going to be reviewing The Hateful Eight. Now, this is Quentin Tarantino's eighth film. It's a western about a group of not-so-civilized gentlemen stuck in a haberdashery, and things go down within this movie. At the same time, there's also a snowy blizzard that's trapping them inside here, and basically becomes something like a mystery film. It's very interesting. Check it out.
Now, the movie's called The Hateful Eight for a reason. The 8 characters that you need to know. These characters are Samuel L. Jackson, Kurt Russell, Jennifer Leigh, Walton Goggins, Damien Bashir, Tim Roth, Michael Madsen, Bruce Dern. There are a couple of other characters who are supporting characters to this film, but those 8 are the main 8 of the movie. And I'd say this movie takes place after some time after the Civil War in America. That's the time frame we're working with in this movie. And yeah, it is quite the brilliant Western mystery, comedy, action film I've ever seen. It's the best of its kind for me.
I'd like to say the thing that stuck out the most in this film was the dialogue.
Yeah.
I mean, Quentin Tarantino is always amazing with his dialogue, but in this movie, I mean, this dialogue was carried by very different personas, you know, and each persona had its own thing about him, you know. We had Samuel L. Jackson, who was kind of a vet, doesn't care, bounty hunter, doing his own thing, but also has a respectful factor about him.
Yeah.
And then there's also Kurt Russell, who seemed respectful, although his actions weren't that respectful. But he seemed like a nice guy, seems like a cool guy. He didn't seem like he had any issues with the race, since this was after the post-war, the Civil War. I mean, these characters were truly interesting.
What was your favorite?
My favorite was basically when you get to the haberdashery. There's also Michael Madsen, who plays John Cage there, but the character that jumped to me the most was Senor Bob.
Senor Bob, played by Damien Bashir.
Senor Bob had this adorable character about him, you know. Even though there was intent in all these people's personas, he's one of those guys that was the lighter side of this film, you know.
Yeah.
His accent, the way he carried himself. I mean, this guy was very interesting. He didn't play a role as big as the sheriff, who was his favorite. But to me, every time the camera was on him, he would say or he would do something that would just capture me in a second.
You calling me a liar, cabrón? This movie has a lot of great scenes. Quentin Tarantino has a thing of drawing good performances from his actors, and I commend him for that.
Another nice aspect of this film was basically the whodunit mystery that happens within this movie. I mean, it was like a game of Clue, you know. Basically, there's something that happens, and there's someone who did it, and it couldn't be anyone but the people that are inside this haberdashery.
Yeah.
And that's what made it so interesting. You're wondering yourself, who's there? It kind of feels like you're there in the haberdashery with these guys, and you're just watching what happens next, you know, who does what. Every movement here has a meaning. Every clue has a meaning. Everything that happens, there's something behind it, which is good direction from Quentin Tarantino.
The film is 3 hours. It sure didn't feel like 3 hours to me because of the things we just mentioned.
And it's split into 5 parts, which makes it interesting.
Yeah.
So even though it's got the 3 hours, you know, there's like 5 parts to this. You're kind of watching an episode after episode after episode of the same movie.
Yeah.
Now, with every good movie, there's flaws. Were there any flaws for you?
I don't want to say the 3 hour runtime because actually to me I enjoyed the movie throughout. Some of the shots felt repetitive, but I think they were there to emphasize on the coldness of where they were, the stormy blizzard. I would say a flaw would be near the final act of the movie. I feel like the resolution of the film could have been conducted better.
It kind of actually slowed down the pace of the film and kind of made it a little more racy than it was. And when it slowed down the pace where, you know, there was adrenaline, there was this fastness about it.
Yeah.
And because of that sequence that he talked about, it kind of slowed it down a little.
Yeah.
Now, let's rate the film. I think it's about time we rate the film like we do always in Buff Potato. This is Nino's favorite part. So I'll let you start.
I've been reading a lot of reviews, and
Yeah.
people are hating. People are hating because the movie shot it in 70 millimeters. People are hating because it's got a lot of racial elements to it. I'm not gonna go with the critics. I'm gonna give this movie a solid 9.3. You guys may disagree. I don't give a fuck. It's a good ass movie. How do you feel?
Personally, for me, I feel the exact same way. I feel like Quentin Tarantino was honest with this. I mean, he had a story, and he had to put it off. And I mean, a lot of movies are risque nowadays, so I don't even get why people are complaining about the things they're complaining about. But I guess that's the world, guys. Nothing we can do about it. So personally, for me, I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. Now, I didn't give it the 3 because of I always have to consider everyone's perceptions. So I kind of add everyone's influence into my rating, but that's only a little part, like a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
You tell us how you feel on the comment section, and we'll get back to you guys. We're very interested to know how you feel about the movies we watch. We want to build a conversation with you guys. And hey, once again, thanks for watching The Buff Potato.